Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. And I'd like to make a request to anyone who knows anything about Kate Forbes. Please, please, please let me know the name of her dealer. Because whatever it is that she's toking on, it must be seriously good. And I say that because she's come out and made a statement which I think can only be made as a result of being off her tits on whatever it is. She's insisted and made it quite clear that Scotland is being talked down. And it's the fact that everyone is saying that the SNP are bad. It's criticism of the SNP, which is turning people away from Scotland. People aren't coming to Scotland. People aren't investing in Scotland because of the SNP. And everyone criticising the SNP and everyone saying how bad the SNP are. Well, Kate, let me tell you then. Here's why people are saying the SNP are bad. It's because the SNP are really bad. She says it's not the high taxes. It's not the lack of investment. It's not the roads falling apart. It's just people saying how bad the SNP are. She's saying it's a constant drumbeat of negativity is the term she is using. And she said that puts people off. Perhaps when, you come back down from whatever high you're on, Kate, you'll take a look around and you'll see the desolation that 17 years of SNP rule has wrought. Now, it's a truism that people will always move to a better area if they can. And that's why people aren't moving to Scotland. Why would you? The NHS waiting lists and SNP policy, terrible. The economy in the toilet, an SNP-controlled economy, terrible. Very high taxes, an SNP-controlled policy, terrible. The roads falling apart, an SNP policy, terrible. Investment failing, an SNP policy, terrible. Bird choppers and high energy cost, an SNP policy, terrible. Nothing is good. Nothing. Communications failing. Infrastructure failing. Everything failing. No, it's not people saying that the SNP is bad that's putting people off Scotland. It's the fact that the SNP is bad that's putting people coming to Scotland. Why would anyone move there? Why would anyone invest there knowing that they're not going to get that return on investment? No one's working. No one's building. No one's investing. The economy is in the toilet and flushing down fast because of 17 years of SNP rule. This drumbeat of negativity, as she's calling it, is being banged on the nationalists' drum. They are the one banging on about all the time independence. And that is not why people will ever invest. It's never going to happen. And while you continue to wank money away, spend money on this political hot potato, although it's really much more a political steaming turd, it frightens people off. Why should they? What on earth would any responsible investor move to Scotland? There's nothing for them to invest in. Certainly not the future. And certainly not an independent future. That would be the biggest folly of all. And one only has to look at the plans to close down the oil and gas industry because of the commitments made by very weak little men in Holyrood. The only thing in the world that would possibly save Scotland. Now, the war in the Middle East is going to screw up the oil supply of the world. If Israel do as they promise and blow up the Iranian oil fields, the price of oil will go through the roof. Anyone who's got oil is going to make an awful lot of money. But not Scotland if they close down the oil fields and restrict the oil growth. Rosebank is almost certainly doomed at a time when oil will probably go to $200 a barrel. That's the problem. the SNP and their, I don't know if it's moron outlook in life. Are they, I mean, seriously, are they retarded or are they on some good shit? Or are they just evil? They hand out money left, right and centre in benefits, money they can't afford. They're not generating enough. They bang on about the independence, but without England's money, they'd be fucked. That Barnett Consequentials keeps them afloat. And of course, the moment they did, if they ever did get independence, anyone with money would leave. We're seeing it in the whole of Britain now, with the policies of the Labour government, and all the millionaires are fleeing. Well, imagine that in Scotland, only 5 times higher. Everyone, and it wouldn't be just millionaires. Anyone with 3 shillings and a brass farthing would be leaving the country. Anyone capable of going would be running for their lives. Swinney, if he was still in charge, would actually have to put up an iron border. Watchtowers, dogs, no-go zones. It's the only way to keep the people in. It would be bereft. And they would sit in there going, wow, it's all those people who talk us down, innit? No, Kate. It's you talking yourself down. It's you pushing the buttons of self-destruction. Now, they want, the Scottish government, Shona Robinson, wants Labour to put the tax rates up south of the border. She may well get her wish, of course, even though they did promise that they wouldn't. But you just don't trust the Labour Party when it comes to promises. They promise a lot, but they deliver very little. But she needs it to go up so that it doesn't make Scotland look as bad. Not that it would improve anything. It just makes it look not as bad. But it's still pathetically bad. And raising taxes is not the right way to invest, to encourage people to come in. They don't understand. So what they want is for the Labour government in London to give a punishment beating to people in England to make the SNP look competent. I'm afraid it's too late. Nothing the SNP do makes them look competent. Nothing. The ferries debacle is just a prime example of this. The immigration in Scotland is destroying everything. We covered this yesterday, the highest immigration rate for 70 years. They don't have the infrastructure. They don't have a means of building an infrastructure. And of course, as the immigrants come in, then the average wealth per capita drops, and drops fast. They don't have answers. They've only got problems. And that's why they spread them. Thanks a lot. Bye.